If you just look at Friday's statistics in your county, in Los Angeles County, there were 48 deaths just in one day on Friday, and there were a little less than a third who were folks above 80, but a little less than a third were people 65 to 79, and more than a third were people aged 30 to 64. Does that raise your level of concern, knowing that actually it is not just the elderly at risk, as you're telling your congregants?
Yeah, to be honest with you, Brianna, I just don't know when the truth is being correctly represented. I know there are people counted
if I may,
with
Pastor,
COVID.
if I may, that's from the Public Health Department in Los Angeles. You doubt the numbers they're putting out?
Yeah, I actually do. I think they're having trouble in the state of California. The governor just declared that he was firing the state health director because the system, the computer system, had miscounted all kinds of things. So the whole state is in an uproar. And then he came out and said, we obviously can't ease up because we don't even know what the numbers are. So it's so chaotic. But the bottom line is, in people's own life experience, they're not seeing these kinds of things in any abnormal sense. And they came back on their own volition because this is the most essential thing in their life. They wanted to be here. They came with joy and not with fear.
No doubt. Look, I mean, we've heard a lot of people they need that spiritual attachment, and going to church is so important. One of my questions for you is this really an either or choice between spiritual and physical health? I mean, is it possible, for instance, I think your overflow area is outside. Can you not get creative? We've heard of other churches there very close to you who are doing outside services. They have cooling systems. They're checking temperatures. They're social distancing. They have masks, which, to be clear, when we look inside of your church, it is indoors. As you said, there's thousands of people. There is absolutely no social distancing. There is no masks. Why not get creative so that you can obey, as you've put it, God's law, but also obey public health regulations?
Yeah, it's a fair question. So we have been creative. We brought in a tent, put it in the parking lot, and first Sunday we had that. It just filled up and overflowed. So then we created a screen out in the middle of a large patio. That overflowed and filled up, and people just kept coming and pouring into the worship center. We don't orchestrate this. This is a church. We don't ask people to make a reservation to come to church. We don't know who's coming.
But you opened
that's
the
why
doors,
I said last.
sir.
Well, yeah, because we aren't going to have the people standing outside in a mob, all pushed up against each other. We opened the doors because that's what we are. We're a church, and we're going to trust those people to make adult decisions about the reality of their physical and spiritual health and how that balance works for each one of them. Nobody's forcing anything. They're here because they want to be here.
And I hear you on that, but they look to you, they trust you, you are their pastor, you are a religious leader for so many thousands of people. Do you worry that if people are coming into your church and they are not practicing what are considered just safe precautions, mask wearing, social distancing, that some of them could die or get sick?
Well, in the first place, I can't express to them a worry. There's enough fear going on in this world and in this climate. There is some reason for normal avoidance of illness. That would be true in any time, in any year. But I'm not going to add to the fear, because I'm not convinced that what is being propagated is actually reality. Neither are they. That's why they're here. And I don't know of anybody in our church, and that's a large church, who's sick at this time. I don't know of anybody. We haven't had anybody in our church in the hospital with this through all these months. So of course we care about that. I know people in the hospital. I can't even go to the hospital to minister to them when they're dying, and I have to talk with people who are on their deathbed in a phone call because I can't get into the hospital to minister to them. So our people know life is being restricted in a way that is not constitutional, that is burdensome, that is targeting a church, and that makes no sense in light of the actual numbers of deaths that they're seeing.
I would just implore you, sir, that some people can be asymptomatic, and also to look at those numbers. I mean, the understanding is that they're underreported. I think that is something that you can take to the bank as you make decisions for that affect thousands of people.
Well, the bottom line, Brianna, is I don't make that decision. That's their decision to make. And they make that decision because that's the decision they want to make in their hearts. And I'm good with that. That's for them to decide.